It's 2021, and
It is.
we're back in the UK. We're in another lockdown. Woohoo! Great, love that. My favorite thing. And it's almost a year since the pandemic hit. It's been a while since we made that first video on it, where we were all entirely
With your
100% correct.
shattering prediction of in 2 weeks it'll be done. I'm going to keep bringing it up. I'm sorry.
Look, I was dead wrong on that, right? Based on what we knew then, I was like, if people handle this, it can be over pretty quickly. I mean, you look at New Zealand, you look at other places, they've done it fairly well.
The fatal error was assuming that people would handle it properly.
Well, yeah, look, I had more faith in our government than anyone ever should. So that was my flaw. I apologize for that. But don't worry. What I'm going to do today is I just want to talk a little bit about the vaccine because, yeah, we've spoken about it a few times and we're now at a point where it's starting to be rolled out, William Shakespeare got the vaccine, which is, was it William Shakespeare? It was. Yeah.
He got revived, did he?
No. I think one of the first people to get the vaccine was called...
Typical of this government is find someone with a funny name that will get a headline and they go, oh, William Shakespeare. Right, cool. And then we'll give William Shakespeare the vaccine so everyone forgets how crap they've been at coronavirus handling because William Shakespeare's got a vaccine. Okay, great.
So another man called William Shakespeare.
Yes.
Obviously.
Imagine having
go
that
and
name.
dig up his hundreds
That's why I was confused. I was
Just
like,
a
they're bringing back to life with the vaccine. That's an amazing vaccine.
Yeah. Look, it can't cure you from COVID, right? It can't stop you from getting COVID, but it can bring you back to life. So, nah. No, William Shakespeare, he was the second person to get the vaccine in the UK. I wish that was a joke. But no, I just wanted to give a quick rundown of the vaccine and where we're at with it. Because I've seen a lot of people being like, yeah, I can't wait for life to get back to normal. So this is just a little sort of brief update for you all. And maybe we'll do a full episode on it soon if you guys let us know if that's something that you want. So first off, I'm just going to quickly go over how the vaccine works. If you watch the show, you probably already know. But bear in mind, it's an mRNA vaccine, which basically means what they do is they inject you with some stuff that makes your cells make the vaccine themselves.
Yeah.
And it doesn't last very long, and then it's out your body, and you're good.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's it. Your body makes the vaccine, and your body gets resistant to the virus, and then you go on living your life.
And then it's gone.
So there are a few different vaccines. Obviously, there's the Oxford Uni vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, and the Moderna vaccine. The UK, I think, as far as I'm aware, we're only using the Oxford Uni one right now. I think we might be trying to get the Moderna one approved as well, but I think
No, we've been using one of the more expensive ones, and we've only just started rolling out the Oxford one.
really, I'm literally. I took this from I literally have this on a BBC article that says we're using the Oxford Uni one.
Well, if your live clip over the Christmas period was anything to go by, don't trust the BBC for medical information.
Look, the point is that there were a few vaccines out there. And not every single place is using the exact same vaccine. Different places are using slightly different versions. They're all basically the same thing. They're just they've been developed by different companies. They need to be kept at different temperatures, sort of -20, fridge temperature, or -70 degrees centigrade. They're slightly different in some cases, but in all cases, for the current vaccines we've got right now, I think you need to have 2 doses of the vaccine to get sort of maximum protection. But also, how is it being rolled out in the UK is a big question. And obviously, we can't just give it to... There's going to be a sort of plan for who we give it to. And they want to give it to about They've given it to about 1.5 million people so far. At least one dose. And they want to vaccinate 15 million people by mid-February. So the first sort of people that were given it were the very elderly, care home residents and care home workers. There were also doctors and nurses, people who were over the age of 80. And then there was also people it kind of goes down in age to people that are sort of 79 to 75, then 70 to 74. And they want to do all of that from January to mid-February. And then from the end of February onwards, they want to get people that are 65 to 69 years old, and then 16 to 64 with underlying health conditions, then 60 to 64, then 55 to 59, then 50 to 54. And those are the sort of priority groups. And then they'll start sort of giving it to everyone else. And also, if you look at the sort of list of people that are on these priority groups, they also include people that have got certain sort of mental health issues. So I think bipolar disorder is on there. If you've got bipolar disorder, you may be able to get vaccinated sooner than other people. There's obviously a lot of thought that's gone into this. The idea is effectively get it to the most vulnerable first, and then everyone else.
Everyone else after that.
Yeah, and it seems like a fairly good idea for rolling out, but we're doing it very, very slowly. I mean, if you look at other countries, Israel, for example, has rolled out a lot faster than us. And we're not necessarily doing it as quickly as we could be. Not entirely sure why. I feel like if we can get everyone in, not everyone, if we have the resources to let almost everyone in the country of voting age vote on the same day, we should be able to vaccinate a lot of people in
1 day.
No, not in 1 day. That's a lot. No, my point is that if we're able to do that, then we should be. I feel like we should be able to vaccinate people in, less time than we're sort of allowing for it. If we really focused on it.
There's the problem of they may not have enough really, really cold freezers.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, like the vaccine's got to go to other countries as well. Maybe there's a bottleneck in the supply of the vaccine. I don't know.
So it could be that. I don't know if this is necessarily a supply issue though, because critics, from the sort of articles that I've read around a bit, from the articles that I've read around, there are sort of supply issues, but that doesn't necessarily affect hugely the speed at which we're rolling it out. If we're getting the doses by a certain sort of time point, or we've ordered them by a certain time point. Yeah. The point I'm saying with this is that basically some people have criticized our government for not rolling out faster. Other countries have done it sort of faster than our government is doing it. And I think it's just important to kind of pay attention to that and make sure that you know what's going on with how quickly it's being rolled out. But even once we do get it, we still don't necessarily know exactly how well it will work in certain aspects. So, for example, we don't know how well it's going to stop transmission necessarily. So we don't necessarily know how long it will last in terms of conferring immunity. So until we know these things for sure, we can't sort of say, hey, once we get the vaccine, life is going back to normal. Because, that's a big question that I've seen, and that's kind of something that I wanted to answer today. That I've seen a lot of people ask, when are things going to be back to normal? If we're getting the vaccine rolled out now, when can we go back to normal life? And the difficult answer to that is that we probably won't go back to normal life anytime soon, and we don't really know. We can't know until we know more about how the vaccine works.
Well, not to be a total downer, but I did see on the news the other day that there's a strain in South Africa that's supposedly resistant to the current vaccine.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah,
look, this is the thing. Now, the people have been saying, when can we go back to normal? Or you've seen memes about when you get the vaccine down at the pub with the boys. And that's the thing. Like, obviously those are memes, those are jokes, but seriously, I think some people may be confused about this.
People are feeling that.
People may be confused about this. When you get the vaccine, that doesn't mean you just suddenly stop taking all the precautions that you were taking beforehand.
Yeah.
Because, just because the vaccine gives you sort of 95%, sort of almost 95% protection from the vaccine, what that means basically is that, I'll explain that in a bit, but just because the vaccine gives you sort of 95% protection from the virus, it doesn't mean that you can give up all of those other protections that we put in place, because 5% of people can still absolutely contract the virus even after being vaccinated.
Yeah.
And that the virus still can spread, potentially, even after being vaccinated. So a vaccine isn't just sort of a get out of jail free card, in the same sense that, buying a really, really great lock on the door of your house, a front door security system that is top of the line, like only, 95% of the time, no one is getting through that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're going to leave your windows wide open,
That's true.
Because someone's just going to climb in the window. And the same with the vaccine. You're not going to get a vaccine and then suddenly stop wearing your mask, going out and doing everything you were before, licking sort of, lampposts, all that stuff, the stuff that we used to love doing before.
Giving the whole tube of big lockdown.
Damn it! I haven't licked a lamppost in a year, Corey.
Got withdrawals.
Look, mate, honestly, you'll be the first one to be licking a lamppost as soon as we get that vaccine, I'm sure.
I hope so.
No, but my point is here that fundamentally we need to understand that life is going to be quite different for quite a while, because we can't guarantee that we're all going to be entirely safe from this virus, even with a vaccine. And to really sort of get rid of it, it would take a vaccine and continued social distancing until the virus has gotten to a point where it doesn't have pandemic potential anymore. And what might that look like? So people have been talking about sort of vaccine passports, things like that.
Yeah.
Basically, we don't know how long you're going to be protected from the virus with the vaccine, but that could mean that you need to have sort of a card that says, I've been vaccinated. And some people are quite mad about this, but if you think about it, there are some countries you could go to. You need to have a sort of vaccinations to go to.
Mhm.
You need to get
Already.
vaccinated for yellow fever. That's not an abnormal thing. So it seems a little scary that things aren't going to go back to normal. But bear in mind that we will get to some sense of normalcy at some point, just not necessarily anytime soon.
Yeah.
You know, and if you look at the Spanish flu, you know, 1918 to 1919,
Did that not take like a couple years to
it took a while.
completely die down?
Yeah, it took a while until things went back to normal, but they clearly went back to normal because we
Yeah,
had
yeah.
some sense of normal
Yeah.
that we want to get back to.
eventually.
Yeah. So the thing is, I understand where things are going right now. Just because the vaccine is being rolled out, just because the government says they'll get it to everyone by April, they won't. Even if they manage to get the vaccine to all the people they said they were going to get to in time, that doesn't mean that by the end of 2021 we're going to be, you know, sitting on beaches, going on the tube, being in public crowded spaces. Just understand that we will get back to normal, just maybe not as soon as you want. If you enjoyed that clip, head over to patreon.com/SciGuys where you can find the full show. Or you can stay here and catch up on old SciGuys episodes. Or you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook at SciGuysPod to find out when we're doing more live shows.